as you continue to learn and add new things in, you're going to get better and better, break this cycle that was going the other way, and then get your life back.
Absolutely. We've got people who 2 years ago, they were in a wheelchair most of the day. They could stand up, but they literally would just transfer from the wheelchair to the toilet, wheelchair to the couch. When they went to the grocery, they were the person in the scooter. They were that sick and that obese, who now reach out to us in our private group, and they're telling me how many 40-yard sprints that they did yesterday. Now, can you imagine the feeling of pride for somebody who used to literally have trouble transferring from a wheelchair to the toilet? Had to have help doing that. They're now out in the backyard doing wind sprints. If you could go back in time and tell that person, 3 years from now, you're going to be doing wind sprints in the backyard, they'd probably try their best to slap you because they would think you were mocking them. That kind of transformation is absolutely possible. It's happening every day when you honor your physiology and your biochemistry and you eat a proper human diet. Your body will go back depending on how much permanent damage you've done, right? We always have to say, well, you smoked for 40 years. You drank a fifth of whiskey a day for 40 years. You lived on Pepsi, Cheetos, and Ding Dongs for 40 years. You've probably done some permanent damage. But the degree with which the body can heal, it's just almost miraculous when you stop the slow poison that is the standard Western diet and start eating a proper human diet. The degree of healing sometimes is almost miraculous, and it makes me want to tear up every time I hear one of those, because that's what I used to dream about doing, Jesse, back when I was 12 years old, watching reruns of MASH and Trapper John MD and Quincy MD and dreaming about being a doctor. I wanted to heal people. I wanted to transform people from sick to well. And I now get to do that on a daily basis. Not because of some invention of mine, but because with many other people, we've just kind of stumbled around in the dark until we've rediscovered what a proper human diet is. And then when we recommend that to somebody, and then the next step is they actually listen and say, okay, this sounds crazy, but I'm going to try it for 90 days. That's it. That's when the seeming magic happens. Because at the end of that 90 days, the vast majority of people say, I'm never going back to the way I used to eat. That would be suicide, effectively, if I went back to eating that way. And most people are not suicidal. They'd actually like to be healthy if it is indeed possible.
And the great thing about all this is that it's approachable for everybody. You've already you've gotten into the details of the fact that it doesn't need to be this pristine, high quality meat for people that can't afford it. And it's a very simple diet. You're telling people eat more meat, cut down the carbs. Like, this is very approachable.
Yep.
It's very simplified, and people really, I can't think of any excuses for people that have been struggling not to give this a try.
Exactly. And indeed, that's what we see is the only people who don't do this are the people who are just not mentally ready. They've got a ton of crap going on in their life. They're just so depressed they can barely get off the couch. They're just not ready to make any change. But the instant that somebody is like, okay, fine, I'll try this for 30 days. I'll do 60. I'll do 90. When they make that commitment, that's when the seeming magic begins, which is just physiology working in the background. But after they see what that 30 days did, what that 60 or 90 days did, they're sold. And then they're the carnivore evangelist out trying to convince their mother-in-law, you got to try this. This is amazing. And it annoys people. But you can just imagine if you literally thought the remainder of your life was going to be short and miserable and full of doctor's visits and full of handfuls of pills for the rest of your life, and now you're in the backyard running wind sprints, you're off all your medicines, you had to buy all new clothes because nothing you had fits anymore, you sold your wheelchair on eBay. When you go to the supermarket now, you don't care if there's an available scooter or not because you don't need that. How could you not shout that from the rooftops? Of course, you're going to be trying to get everybody you care about to give this a 90-day try because you know what it did for you.
If you enjoyed that clip, press here for the full episode. I'll see you over there.
Any disease you can think of that's chronic and progressive, it's being caused by hyperglycemia, hyperinsulinemia, and chronic inappropriate levels of inflammation. Your default setting is good health. And if you're not enjoying good health,